Good morning, students. Welcome to statewide live online lectures. Myself, Bhavya Keni from Gumpa Road Municipal Secondary School. Last lecture, I started with chapter number 1 for political science, that's post-World War political development. Today, we are going to start with chapter number 2, that is India's foreign policy for political science again. Now, what we are going to learn in this chapter? Now, we have got introduced to the international system. Now, international system, this concept you have already come across in chapter number 1. Okay, so let's revise that as well. Now, when we understand this concept international system, we understand that we are dependent on different persons, okay, institutions and organizations in the society for different reasons and for different facilities. Like we are dependent on universities, we are dependent on colleges, we are dependent on hospitals, schools, healthcare centers. So for some other reason, different person are dependent on different institution and organization. Now our social life is interdependent. Interdependent means dependent on each other, and there is a mutual cooperation, like we help each other, and has a very important place in it. Just as it is true about individuals and society, it applies to different nations as well. So, this interdependence which takes place in society between individuals, it applies for society as well. So, there are many independent nations in the world, like our country, India as well. Some exchange and interaction goes on between them constantly. uh, Exchange in the terms of trade, oil, minerals. So there are these independent states, they also enter into treaties with each other. Treaties, you can say, kind of agreement with each other. So when it comes to a system of all these independent sovereign states means a state with defined territory which administers its own government and is not dependent on any other power. So when all this comes up together, we call it as an international system and its nature. So we have got introduced to international system in previous chapter. We have also got introduced to Cold War. We have also understood about Cold War period. Okay, so Cold War, the concept of Cold War is used to describe the condition where there is no actual war, but there are such tensions in the circumstances that they may be responsible to cause war. And as we have understood, Cold War, among many events that took place in the world after Second World War, it was the beginning of Cold War. The period of Cold War was between 1945 to 1991, and it was quite a long period. And it was two superpowers involved in it, that is America and Soviet Union, who were in allies in partnership in Second World War, but they became competitor as soon as Second World War was over, and their cooperation between them was gave way to rivalry, and this rivalry occupied a period of around 40 to 45 years. Actually there was no open war, but these two countries, between these two countries, that is America and Soviet Union, but there was such a tension in their relations that it seemed that it would anytime there would be a war. So that was about Cold War that we have learned in the previous chapter. Now in this chapter we shall now get introduced to other related issues. Thus, we shall learn about the meaning of foreign policy, factors that make an impact on it, and nature of India's foreign policy. Now, the title of the chapter, students, itself, it's India's foreign policy. Okay, so foreign policy of our country. Okay, so you can say it's a kind of plan of action which is agreed or chosen by a Indian government in relation to have for the relation to be carried out with different countries of the world. You can also say it's a government's strategy. Okay, Indian government strategy in dealing with other countries or other nations of the world. Now, first we will understand what is the meaning and importance of foreign policy. Now, all countries are members of the international system. So the concept of international system, I got you all introduced now, that all countries are dependent on each other. There's interdependence. Okay. And when all this come together, it forms an international system. So all countries are members, all countries of the world are members of this international system. Now we have already studied that none of these countries is completely self-reliant. Self-reliant means none of these countries completely self-sufficient. Okay. And hence there is a mutual interdependence, means there is a relation of being dependent on one another in the international system. So only this interdependence should not be of benefit to few countries. So it should not be that this interdependence which goes on between different countries, it should not be be beneficial for only few countries of the world. Efforts should be made to ensure that it benefits every nation, like all nations of the world. So each country has to decide the nations with which it should be friendly. So each country of the world has to decide which other countries or other nations of the world they have to be friendly with. Um, or you can say in which block means in which group of countries they should participate or they should join, or what position it should take in international relations. So when such decision should be made thoughtfully. So when this decision is made, like which country we have, like when the thought is given, like which country we should be friendly with, or which group of country we should join. So this theoretical framework means the structure which holds or support this decision. It's known as, or it's called as, foreign policy. So every sovereign, every supreme, okay, or every sovereign and independent country which has to decide its own foreign policy. Hence, in the discipline of international politics is like it is about different ways in how we can think about this world, and therefore the different ways in how we might understand and tackle the challenges and realize the opportunities. So this international politics, which studies international relations between nations, foreign policy has an important place in it. So now we understood what is foreign policy, what is it, the importance of foreign policy. The next concept here is national interest. Now, when it comes to national interest, uh, it's like foreign policy and national interest, are closely connected to each other. Now we have understood what foreign policy means. Now national interest is fostered, you can say encouraged through foreign policy. Therefore, before studying foreign policy further, we need to understand the meaning and the significance, like importance of national interest. Now, national interest implies, means suggest the means through which the independence and sovereignty, you can say freedom of our country can be safeguarded. So when it comes to national interest, it is the means through which the independence of our country and the freedom of our country can be safeguarded, means protected. So national interest also includes efforts to achieve our economic development, like you can say process of improving the quality of life of a nation, region, or community. Or you can say it's like the growth of standard of living of the people. So when it comes to national interest, it includes when any country thinks about its nation or national interest, it includes the efforts to achieve economic development of the country and to take necessary steps towards increasing our national power. National powers means related to our natural resources, our military, leadership, organization, technology. So when decisions are taken after giving a careful thought, like to what is beneficial and what is good for our country, we say that we are nurturing our national interest. So whenever the decision is taking. So the similar decision is also taken in foreign policy. In foreign policy also we think about what would be beneficial for our country, which country to join, so that would be beneficial for our country. In national interest also we think the similar way. We give a careful thought to what is good for our country. So like we are nurturing, like we are protecting our national interest in this way. So in this sense, the following factors are included in the national interest of any country. So there are two factors which includes the national interest of any countries of the world. The first one is defense. Now, defense is basically protection from any aggression, like protection or attack from any foreign entities. It's a primary reason we have the state. Now, defense is the single most important function of government. Now, citizens who choose to protect our lives and freedom by serving the Indian Armed Forces, they perform a service above all others. So that comes under defense. So it is like the protection of our country's independence, the sovereignty, the power that a country has to control its own government, integrity, like the state of being united, is the highest national interest. So the national interest includes the one of the important factor, that is defense. The another factor which national interest includes is economic development. Okay, economic development, as I already explained you all, it's like the process of improving the quality of the life of the people of a nation, region, or community. So, when dealing with economic area of foreign policy, one can distinguish three lines of action that can directly influence the country's development, their lives, like the trade promotion, investment policy, economic, financial, and commercial negotiation. So, economic development is also an important national interest. An economically weak nation, any nation which is economically weak, like in terms of trade, in terms of industry, in terms of money, if any countries or any nation is weak, will not be able to maintain its independence. Why? It will be taken over by any other country. The control, the power would be of that weak nation would be taken over by any other country. So, hence, economic development is understood to be an important national interest next only to defense. So, these two factors include the national interest of any countries. Then we will understand how national interest and foreign policy are connected to each other. Now, foreign policy is drawn to foster the national interest of defense and economic development. Whenever foreign policy is done, it is basically to encourage the national interest, which includes defense of our country and economic development of our country. So national interest is considered to be the goal, the aim, and foreign policy is considered to be the means to achieve. So when it comes to national interest, when we think about national interest, it is the aim to be achieved, and that aim is achieved through foreign policy. So goals of any nation change with changing in conditions and time. So any nation's goals will is subject to change. Okay, the goal of any nation, like the national interest of any nation, it could be related to defense, economic development, or social development, or development related to education, development related to health facilities. So as the goal changes, the national interest will also change. These changes are reflected in foreign policy as well. So foreign policy is always dynamic. Dynamic means is always subject to constant change, activity, or progress. So this is the interconnection between national interest and foreign policy. So now we have covered the concept of foreign policy and national interest and the factors which include national interest. Now further we will move on. What are the factors which influence foreign policy? Like So you can understand here like what are the factors which affects or what are the factors which is considered while while deciding the foreign policy with other countries of the world. Now, foreign policy decides what kind of relation to have with which country in international system. So when the foreign policy is carried out, so it has been decided like what kind of relation we should have with which country when it comes in the international system. But there are several factors which affect foreign policy while it is being decided. So there are number of factors which affect the foreign policy. So the first one is the geographical location. Now, students, you might have seen a globe or a map of the world. Okay, so you can see the geographical location through when you see a map of the world, or when you see observe the globe. Okay, you can see the geographical location, which refers to a position of on the earth of any nation. From that, when we see that some countries are far away from other countries, while some are while there are some which is neighboring countries, while there are several neighboring countries around some countries. Okay, like for example, India, we have neighboring countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, Bhutan, China, Maldives. Now here some nation they have a long coastline. Long coastline is like a boundary between the land and ocean or lake. Okay. So some countries have long coastline, while some have plenty of mineral wealth like metallic and non-metallic minerals, and they this like you can say gold, silver, tin, copper, gypsum. So some nations they have long coastlines, good. Some are good in mineral wealth. So when we conclude in sum, the size, the population, topography means physical features of an area, coastline, the availability of natural resources like water, air, coal, oil, natural gas, all these factors needs to be considered while deciding the foreign policy of any country. So one of the factor which influence or which is considered while deciding the foreign policy is the geographical location of a particular nation. Okay. Then second factor is political system. Now, what is political system, students? Political system is a representative government wherein there is a freedom of citizens. So, in a democratic political system, it's like representative government, freedom of citizens, transparency of political acts. So, the nation's parliament, that is the nation's legislative body of the government, it plays a major role in evolving foreign policy. Like you can say, it plays a major role the nation in deciding the foreign policy. So when different aspects or different parts come up for discussion in parliament, the opposition parties, means the opposition political party, what they do, they try to regulate, they try to control by using laws or rules the foreign policy by raising questions about the same. So the political party which is not in government, or the opposition party political party, they raise a question in the parliament about what foreign policies are undertaken by the existing government. So there is a federal political system. Federal political system is a system of government in which several states they form a unity but remain independent in internal affairs, have to take into account the inclination. Inclination is like the tendency of a constituent state. Constituent state is a state entity which is separate in its own identity and with that constitute as a part of sovereign state. Then that means its own government, not dependent on any other power, while shaping foreign policy. Because the affairs in neighboring nation affect the constituent states. So whatever event is happening in the neighboring countries or nation, it affects the constituent states. For example, you can see if there is a event happening in Sri Lanka, it may affect Tamil Nadu, okay, because it's the neighboring or nearby state. And then if there is West Bengal, if there is an event happening in West Bengal, in Bangladesh, it may affect West Bengal or the northeast states, that is Assam, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Manipur, because the West Bengal and other northeast states, Indian states, they are neighboring countries. So this is the another factor, that is political system, which affects the foreign policy. Then third factor is economy. So in modern times, the economic condition, you can say, the present state of economy in a country has acquired great importance in deciding the foreign policy. As a result, the economy affects foreign policy in two ways. The first one is foreign policy is shaped by the need to establish economic relation. Now, economic relations, you can say it's an impact of government restrictions on production, consumption, and distribution of income. And there is when there is economic relation, it's like economic interaction among various countries and their effect on global economy. So, foreign policy is shaped by the need to establish economic relations to be undertaken with different countries. Other is import and export between different countries, participation in world trade, like buying and selling of goods and services, all aimed at strengthening the economy of a country. So, so whenever we do a foreign policy, it is basically to establish economic relation with other countries. To have a import export, or to have a well trade with other countries, to even participate in the world trade, so that we can make our economy strong. And another reason is, in today's world, the issues of economic security. Economic security means a stable income or other resources to support a standard of living for now and future, are as important as national security. National security is there is a difference between economic security and national security. Economic security is like, as I told you, it's stable income or other resources for the people of the nation, for now as well as future. And when it comes to national security, it is the safety of a nation against any kind of threat for the people of the nation, like terrorism, war, etc. So this economic security is as important as national security. So countries recognized to be powerful in proportion to the economic security it enjoys. So any country is considered as powerful for the reason how strong their economic security is. Countries having strong economy, it's uh, the country which is very strong in terms of production, consumption of goods, services, and supply of money, are less dependent on others, and they can have an independent foreign policy as well. So this another third point which comes under factor influencing foreign policy is economy. Under that we have 2 points. Then fourth point is national leadership, like nation's leadership. So the president, the prime minister, the foreign minister, the defense minister, the finance minister of a country, and the home minister. So they have an important role while deciding the foreign policy of a country. So the person who holds this position, what they try to maintain the continuity, to continue the foreign policy, and they try to improve the relation with other countries. For example, the first prime minister of our country, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he contributed to the policy of non-alignment. Non-alignment, that the concept which we studied in the previous chapter. which is like not to join any of the superpowers, the America or Soviet Union, so that we can get aid or help from both of them. Was India's foreign policy. Then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee contributed a great deal to have improving relation between Sino-Indian relation, like in relation between China and India. So this covers the fourth point. Then fifth point is administrative factor. Now administrative factor, you can say the management officials, which comes for under foreign policy. So it's the Ministry of External Affairs. Ministry of External Affairs. It's a government agency, or you can say foreign ministry, which is responsible to carry out to conduct the foreign relation. Then foreign secretary, foreign secretary, who is the head of the staff in the Ministry of External Affairs. Embassies. Embassies is a group of officials, diplomats, and their head ambassador who represent the government in foreign country. Diplomatic officers who help to promote and protect the British interest, business, and citizens overseas. They include the administrative factor in while creating the foreign policy. But you can say the final decision about foreign policy are taken by the Prime Minister of the country and the Ministry of External Affairs. This administrative machinery, like Ministry of External Affairs or Foreign Secretary or embassies or diplomatic officers, what they do, they help the Prime Minister and the ministers under External Affairs to arrive to that decisions about foreign policy. And this administrative officer, they collect information which is required to shape the foreign policy. They analyze everything. They they look into different aspects or details carefully, or what would be what would be good for our country or beneficial, and give appropriate advice regarding it. The national security advisor, the national security advisor, who is the chief advisor to a nation, to a national government on matters of security. Like for our country, we have Ajit Doval. Okay, so they complete the task. They complete the task of deciding the foreign policy. So now, till now, we covered these points for factors influencing foreign policy, which included geographical location of any country, political system, the economy, the national leadership, and the administrative factor which decides the foreign policy. Now we start with India's foreign policy. So particularly, how does our country carries out the foreign policy? After taking like important information about foreign policy, now we get to know about India's foreign policy. Now, India, as we know, students, India got independence in 1947. And from then onwards, we started shaping our foreign policy independently. The directive principle of our state policy, which is mentioned in the part 4 of our, or you can say Article 51 of our Indian Constitution. It describes the directive principle of state policy. Now, this section of Indian Constitution, it prescribes the fundamental obligations. Fundamental obligations means fundamental duty or responsibility of the state to its citizens, and the duties of the citizens to the state. So the directive principle, which aims to create the social and economic condition under which the citizen can lead a good life, have laid down guidelines as well about how to shape our foreign policy. So Article 51, among the directive principle of state policy, it lays down the broad framework, means you can say broad structure for foreign policy. So according to it, India should give priority. Priority means our country should give importance to safeguard. Safeguard means to protect against possible danger, and to even to protect our international peace and security. and resolve our international problem. Okay, if when we have any problem with any countries of the world, we should try to solve it, or any kind of argument by peaceful means. We should not resort to way of war or riots or anything as such. Instead, we should try to solve it in a very we should negotiate, or we should try to solve it peacefully. This is what been said in directive principle stated. The objectives of our foreign policy should be to maintain friendly relations with other nations and respect international law. International law means the rules and the principles governing the relations and dealings of nations with each other, as well as the relation between state and individual and relation between international organization. So the main objective or main aim of foreign policy is to maintain friendly relations with other nation and even to respect the law, international law. India's foreign policy till now has been developed in this framework, in this structure. Now, Article 51, which lays down the broad framework or laid down the guidelines, like how to shape the foreign policy in our Indian constitution. So, what it says the constitution, the constitution of our country, which has structure, procedures, powers, duties of government, institution, fundamental rights, directive principles, duties of citizens. So it says that it to promote international peace and security. Okay, under this Article 51, it for the direct for related to foreign policy, how to frame foreign policy. Our foreign policy should promote international peace and security. Means it should develop international peace and security. It should maintain just means impartial. There should not be any kind of partiality. And honorable means respect each respectful relation between nations. Foster respect means encourage respect for international law and treaty obligations, and obligations means responsibility related to any kind of agreement in dealings of organized people with one another. Encourage settlement of international dispute by arbitration. By arbitration means by peacemaking. So these are the things which is mentioned under Article 51 of Indian Constitution to related to framing of the or deciding the foreign policy. All these things should be kept in mind to promote international peace, security, maintain just and honorable relation, foster respect for international law and treaty obligations, encourage settlement of international dispute by arbitration. Now, there are few more objectives of India's foreign policy. So let's look on to that as well. While maintaining friendly relations with neighboring countries. Okay, so when it's been said we should have friendly relations. So we should while maintain when we have friendly relation with neighboring countries with our neighboring countries, we should be sure that the defense, the one which is protects and defends our country, like Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force, and security of our country of uh, of uh, of India should not be affected. Okay. So whenever we have friendly relation with our country, with our neighboring countries, like uh, as I told you, our neighboring countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, Bhutan, China, Maldives. So even though we have when we have friendly relations with them, our defense and security should not be affected at all. We should not compromise. Means we should not agree about the geographical boundaries. Means geographical boundaries, the boundaries of a country, or the rivers, the settlement related to rivers, mountain ranges, oceans, deserts of the nation. We should protect the unity of our country. We should protect it. We should protect the integrity, like the territory which is controlled, governed by our state or rule who claims the sovereignty of the country. We should protect the interest. We should protect the benefit of India's citizens living in other countries. We should protect the benefit of India's citizens. We should think about what would be beneficial of the citizens of our living in other countries. So this responsibility is basically fulfilled by Indian embassies. Indian embassies means there are group of officials, um, and their head who represent their government in foreign countries. So if there is an Indian in other country, they could get help from these Indian embassies located in other countries. So to establish economic and commercial relations with other countries for achieving economic development of India. So we should have establish economic relation, like economic interaction among different countries and their effect on global economy, the impact on government restrictions on production, consumption, distribution of income. It plays a major role in economic relation of a country with other. We should also establish commercial relation, that is trade relations with other countries, so that we can achieve economic development of our country. So these are few more objectives of our India's foreign policy. So students, today we have covered these points, the introduction part, as well as the meaning and importance of foreign policy, national interest, the factors including national interest, how national interest and foreign policy are connected to each other, factors which influence foreign policy and India's foreign policy, and the few more objectives of India's foreign policy. Now let's evaluate what we have done. Now here you have first question, that is choose the correct answer and rewrite the sentence. So you need to choose the correct answer from the given options and you have to write the full sentence again. The first question here is Article 51 lays down the broad framework for dash policy. Your options are internal, foreign, economic, and defense. So you need to choose the correct answer here. The correct answer is foreign policy. Article 51, it lays down the broad framework for foreign policy. The second question is Dash has always been a central feature of India's foreign policy. The options given is self reliance, economic development, international peace, protect the environment. So the correct answer is international peace. So international peace has been a central feature of India's foreign policy. Then we have next third one. In the discipline of dash foreign policy has an important place. Options are Indian politics, comparative politics, international politics, and state politics. So correct answer is in the discipline of international politics, foreign policy has an important place. The next one, dash implies the means through which the independence and sovereignty of our country can be safeguarded. Options are national interest, non-alignment, foreign policy, internal policy. The correct answer is national interest. National interest implies the means through which the independence and sovereignty of our country be can be safeguarded. The next question is to concept map, to prepare a concept map. So you will for your exam you'll get a question like factors affecting foreign policy. You have to write the factors like geographical location, political system, administrative factors, national leadership, and economy. So this way concept map you will get to fill the answers with the factors. The next question is state whether the following statements are true or false with reasons. So you need to write whether the statement is true or whether it is false, and you have to write the reasons as well. So here the first one is Pandit Nehru contributed towards improving Sino-Indian relations. So the answer is true. As Pandit Nehru, he formulated Panchsheel, which was a treatise like agreement of five principles of peaceful coexistence to govern relations between India and China. The first formal codification means code of law in the form of treaty, which was an agreement between China and India in 1954. Mutual non-interference in internal affairs of the country, mutual non-aggression, not between the countries, equality of mutual benefit, mutual respect for each other, and peaceful coexistence with the principle of seeking peace with China. Nehru backed or supported, you can say, China's permanent membership in United Nations, which is an international organization, Security Council. Though Nehru had a policy of improving Sino-Indian relations, China even attacked India in 1962. The next question is Atal Bihari Vajpayee took lead in improving relations with Pakistan. So this is again true. In an effort to develop friendly relation, India and Pakistan they started with bus service called Sadeh Sarat, Call of Border, between Delhi and Lahore, with Atal Bihari Vajpayee as the Prime Minister. During Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. He also revived the train called Samjhauta Express, Friendship Express. Uh, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji rendered help to earthquake victims of Pakistan during the rule of Parvez Musharraf. In 1999, there was another war between India and Pakistan in Kargil over Kashmir issue. So India had defeated Pakistan in this war as well. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji tried to establish discussion dialogue with Pakistan, but it was not successful. The next question is the foreign policy is always dynamic, means the foreign policy is always subject to change. So again, it is true. You have to mention the reasons in points. The first point is foreign policy is drawn up to foster the national interest of defense and economic development. The national interest is considered to be the goal, and foreign policy is considered to be the means to achieve it. Goals of any nation change with the changes in condition and time. Accordingly, national interest also changes. As the goal changes, the national interest, of course, will change. These changes are reflected in foreign policy as well. Therefore, foreign policy is always dynamic. Then, geographical factors have no place in foreign policy. So, now in the lecture, we have studied geographical factor is one of the geographical location is one of the factor which influence foreign policy. So, this above statement will be false. So, the foreign policy of a country is conditioned by the geographical factors. The geographical location of a country is the most important determinant of foreign policy. So the size, population, topography, coastline, availability of natural resources need to be considered while deciding the foreign policy of any country. Then we have explained the concept. The first one is the India's foreign policy. Now, first point you can write is India got independence in 1947. And from then onwards, India started shaping its foreign policy independently. Article 51, among the directive principles of the state policy, lays down the broad framework for foreign policy. Now, according to this directive principle of state policy, India should give priority to safeguard international peace and security and resolve international problems and dispute by peaceful means. The objectives of our foreign policy should be maintain friendly relation with other nations and respect international law. So these are the points you will write or cover under India's foreign policy concept. The next one is national interest. Now, national interest it basically implies the means through which independence and sovereignty of our country which can be safeguarded. National interest also includes efforts to achieve our economic development and take steps towards increasing our national power. When decisions are taken after giving a careful thought to what is beneficial and what is good for our country, we say that we are nurturing our national interest. The third one is world peace. So, world peace is basically an ideal state of freedom, peace, happiness among all the countries or nations and people. This ideal of world nonviolence provides a basis for people and nations to willingly cooperate with each other either voluntarily or by virtue of system of governance that prevents warfare, any kind of war. India has been consistently, or you can say continuously supporting efforts for disarmament, like reduce in the number of weapons, because it's India's policy that there should be peace and security. And the next one is objectives of India's foreign policy. So yeah, the first point you can write, while maintaining friendly relation with neighboring countries, as I explained you all, we should ensure that the defense and security of India should not be affected in any way, protecting the unity and integrity of the country, protecting the interest of India's citizens who are living in other countries, and this responsibility is undertaken by Indian embassies to establish economic and commercial relations with other countries for achieving economic development. So this point covers for objectives of India's foreign policy. Then we have role of economy in foreign policy, like what are the role, the part which we done for economy and the factor influencing foreign policy. So foreign policy is shaped by the need to establish economic relation with other countries, like import, export, participation in world trade, all aimed at strengthening the economy of the country. In today's world, the issues of economic security are as important as national security. So, a country is recognized to be powerful in proportion to the economic security it enjoys. The fourth point you can write, countries having a strong economy are less dependent on others and they can have independent foreign policy as well. Then the next concept we do is national leadership, which is another factor influencing foreign policy. So the president, the prime minister, the foreign minister, the defense minister, the finance minister, and the home minister have a role in deciding the foreign policy. The persons holding this position, they try to maintain the continuity in foreign policy and they try to improve upon it. The third point, for example, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru contributed the policy of non-alignment to India's foreign policy. And the fourth point is Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee contributed a great deal to improving Sino-Indian relations. So these are the points you can write under national leadership concept. Then there is a question which is write a note about Article 51 of the Indian Constitution. So here you can write India got independence in 1947, and from then onwards we started shaping our foreign policy independently. Second point you can mention is the directive principles of state policy. They have laid down guidelines about how to shape foreign policy. And Article 51, among the directive principle, it lays down the broad framework for foreign policy. According to it, India should give priority to safeguard international peace, security, and resolve our international problems and disputes by peaceful means. The objectives of our foreign policy should be to maintain friendly relations with other nations and respect international law. So this is what is mentioned under Article 51 of our Indian Constitution related to directive principle of state policy. And next we have is answer the following in brief. So write about the political system as a factor which influence India's foreign policy. So here you can write is in a democratic political system, the nation's parliament it plays a major role in evolving foreign policy. When different aspects come up for discussion in parliament, the opposition parties they try to regulate the foreign policy by raising questions about the same. Federal political system they have to take into account the inclination like the tendency of the constituent states while shaping foreign policy, because whatever happens in neighboring nation affects the constituent states. For example, events in Sri Lanka may affect Tamil Nadu, and those in Bangladesh may affect West Bengal and Northeast Indian states. Then next question is write about the administrative factors of Indian policy, which is again a factor which influence foreign policy. So here you can mention Ministry of External Affairs, Foreign Secretary, embassies in different countries, diplomatic officers are administrative factor involved in creating foreign policy. Even though the final decisions about foreign policy are taken by Prime Minister and Minister for External Affairs, The administrative machinery, they help to arrive at that decision. The administrative officers, they collect information needed to shape the foreign policy. They analyze it and give appropriate advice based on it. And the National Security Advisor also completes this task. Then we have write a note on geographical location, that is the factors, the first factor influencing foreign policy. So we must have seen the globe or map of the world. Now we see the geographical location of any nation from that. There are some countries which are far away from other countries, while there are several neighboring countries around some countries. Some nations have long coastline, while some have plenty of mineral wealth. So, in some, the size, population, topography, coastline, availability of natural resources, all these factors need to be considered while deciding the foreign policy of any country. Then describe the factors which are included in the national interest of any country. So there I have explained you all of two important factors, that is defense and economic development. So the following factors are included in the national interest of any country. The first one is defense, that is the protection of country's independence, sovereignty, and integrity is the highest national interest. Second point, economic development, which is an also important national interest. An economically weak nation will not be able to maintain its independence. Hence, economic development is understood to be an important national interest, next only to defense. Then state the importance of foreign policy. What is the importance of foreign policy? Now, interdependence is the key feature, main feature in the international system. And each country has to decide which country should be friendly or which block of it should participate or what position it should take in an international relation. So this such decisions should be made thoughtfully, giving a serious thought about it. So the theoretical framework, the structure you can see in which the decision are taken is called foreign policy. Now every sovereign and independent country decides its own foreign policy. Hence, in the discipline of international politics, which studies the international relations between nations, foreign policy has an important place. These are the points which we'll cover for importance of foreign policy. So today we have covered few points, few part topics, subtopics of this chapter. Tomorrow we will continue with the further part of the chapter. Thank you, everyone. Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you.